Pain hit me before my eyes even opened, and my first thought was clear and cold. I am captured, and captured means I am already dead. My hands moved on their own, searching for restraints, searching for a blade, searching for anything that would tell me how many seconds I had left. There was nothing. No chains. No cold metal table. Just a soft surface under my back, and a strange, steady beeping sound that did not belong to any weapon I knew. I forced my eyes open, and the light burned white above me. A ceiling. Smooth, calm, painted the color of clouds. My training screamed at me that this was wrong, that comfort was a trick, that humans built pretty rooms to make you relax before they took you apart piece by piece for what you knew. I had heard this since I was a child. Every soldier of the Vashtar Compact heard it. If you wake in human hands, do not hope. Hoping only makes the ending worse. My body ached in a way that felt like healing, not punishment. My side, which should have been torn open from the crash, was wrapped and cool and strangely painless. I tried to sit up, and a jolt of dizziness knocked me back down, and that was when I heard footsteps, fast and light, coming toward me. A woman appeared beside the bed, human, small, dark-haired, tired eyes, wearing a uniform with a name stitched onto it that I could not yet read. She did not reach for a weapon. She did not call for guards. She reached for my wrist, gently, and pressed 2 fingers against it, the way you check if something fragile is still alive. "Easy," she said. "You are safe. Do not move too fast." I stared at her the way you stare at something that should not exist. A human being telling me I was safe. The words did not fit together in my mind. I had been trained for interrogation. I had been trained for pain. I had never been trained for this. "Where am I?" I said, my voice cracking through a throat that felt scraped raw. "Riverside Hospital," she said. "You crashed 2 nights ago, out past the old barley fields. A farmer found you and called it in. You have been unconscious since then." "You should have let me die there," I said, and I meant it. It would have been simpler. It would have matched everything I had ever been taught. She frowned at that, not with anger, but with something closer to sadness. "That is not how this works here," she said, "not how it works with me." Her name, I would learn, was Ellie. She was a nurse, and she had been the one arguing, apparently for hours, with someone above her about what should happen to me. I did not understand any of this yet. All I understood was that no blade had come, no interrogator had come, and the machine beside me kept counting my heartbeat like it actually mattered whether it continued. Over the next few days, my body grew stronger, and my confusion grew stronger with it. Every hour that passed without pain, without questions under threat, without chains, chipped away at something inside me that had been solid since I was old enough to walk. I kept waiting for the moment the mask would fall away and the real humans would appear. They never did. A man came to the door once, wearing a dark uniform, official and serious, the kind of presence that made my whole body tense with old memory. He spoke to Ellie in a low voice for a few minutes. I could not hear the words, but I saw her stand taller, saw her fold her arms, saw her shake her head firmly. The man left without ever stepping fully into the room. "He wanted to move you somewhere else," Ellie told me afterward, checking the machine beside my bed without looking at me. "Somewhere with more guards. I told him you are still recovering, and that can wait." "You refused him," I said slowly. "He is your military." "He is not my patient," she said. "You are." I did not have words for what that did to me. I had been told my whole life that humans respected only strength, only force, only the chain of command pressing down from above. I had watched a woman half my size tell an armed officer to wait, simply because she believed I still needed care. It did not match anything I had been given as truth. By the end of the first week, I could sit up on my own, and Ellie brought me a small device that let me understand her language properly, instead of guessing at half the words. That was when the real trouble started, because now I could ask questions, and now I could understand the answers. Why does no one here want to hurt me? I asked her one evening, when the hospital had gone quiet and only a few soft lights remained on down the hallway. She sat down in the chair beside my bed, the way she always did when she had something honest to say. Because you are a person who got hurt, she said. That is the whole reason. It does not need to be more complicated than that. I am your enemy, I said. I was sent here to gather information that could be used against your people. You are 22 years old, she said, and you crashed trying to fly over a barley field. I do not know what kind of enemy that makes you. It looks to me like someone who was sent to risk everything for a war neither of us chose to start. Neither of us chose to start it. The sentence sat inside my chest like a stone dropped into still water, spreading outward, touching everything. The compact does not start wars, I said, though even as the words left my mouth I heard how hollow they sounded, how much they sounded like something recited rather than something known. Humanity struck first. Everyone knows this. It happened at the old mining station, before I was born. Ellie did not argue with me right away. Instead, she reached into her bag and pulled out a small tablet, the kind I had seen humans carry everywhere, and set it gently on the blanket beside my hand. I looked into that, she said, after the first few days you were here, because I figured you would ask me something like this eventually, and I did not want to just guess at an answer. What happened at that station was not an attack. It was an automated mining platform that malfunctioned during a storm. People died, and that is a real tragedy, but it was never a strike ordered by any human fleet. Your leaders used it as a reason to build ships for 40 years. That cannot be true, I said, though my voice had lost its certainty somewhere in the middle of the sentence. I am not asking you to believe me just because I said it, she said. There is a public record. Once your translator is fully working, you can read it yourself. I only think you deserve to know the truth, whatever it turns out to be, instead of dying in a hospital bed still believing something someone told you to keep you fighting. That night, long after she had gone home, I picked up the tablet with hands that would not stay steady. I searched for the words she had given me. I found the record of the storm. I found the names of the workers who had died, ordinary names, not soldiers, not warriors, just people doing their jobs when the weather turned against them. I found no order, no fleet, no human intention anywhere in the report. Then I found something worse. Buried under layers of old classified files that humans had somehow captured and made public, I found transcripts from my own government, written around the same time as the accident. They spoke of the mining station not as a tragedy, but as an opportunity. They spoke of how the story could be shaped to justify what they already wanted to build. I read it twice. Then I set the tablet down and sat very still in the dark, listening to my own heartbeat on the little machine beside me, and I understood that something inside me had broken that could never be put back the way it was. I did not become human that night. I did not stop being a soldier of the Vashtar Compact, or a daughter of a world I still loved, even after everything. But I stopped believing that this hospital room was some elaborate trap. I stopped waiting for the knife that Ellie had promised, without ever saying it directly, was never coming. When I was finally well enough to leave the main ward, they moved me to a quieter room with a window that looked out over a small garden. There were guards outside, but they were calm, almost relaxed, more there to protect me from anyone still angry about the war than to keep me from leaving. Before Ellie's shift ended for good, she came to see me one last time. I asked her the question that had been sitting in my chest since that first night. Why did you fight so hard for one enemy soldier, out of billions of people on your side of this war? She thought about it for a long moment, longer than she usually needed for an answer. Because someone has to be the first person who does not lie to you, she said. It might as well be me. I do not know yet what I will say to my own people if I ever return home. I do not know if they will believe what I found, or if belief is even something you can ask from people who were given only one version of a story, the same way I was, for their entire lives. But I know what I will never say. I will never say that I was afraid in that hospital, because somewhere between the fear and the truth, I stopped being afraid. I became something else instead. I became awake, in a way I had never been before, and there was no going back to who I had been the moment before I opened my eyes.